Time now for the Kickstarter, exploring economic growth links in sports tourism, unlocking Uganda's economic potential. We all know that sports tourism and exports is a significant and growing segment of the broader tourism industry, with destinations leveraging sports events to attract visitors and boost local economies. Hosting major sporting events, including CHAN and the Africa Cup of Nations for Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania, significantly boosts our nation's visibility, attracting foreign investment, but also improving infrastructure and development efforts towards that. From the athletics tracks to the netball courts, cricket pitches, basketball courts, Ugandan sportsmen and women have conquered and, of course, reigned supreme. And with that triumph comes visibility and a huge dividend in terms of public relations and image awareness. Today, we are joined by Francis Nyende, a marketing manager at Uganda Tourism Board, and Martin Lugwana, tourist guide, Go Gorilla Trekking, as well as Self-Driving Uganda, and also Patron of Ntinda United. I'll be finding out what Ntinda United is. It has the sound of football on it. But allow me begin and, of course, engage Mr. Francis Nyende on account of your designation within Uganda Tourism Board. UTB is a top or front performer or actor when it comes to driving Uganda's tourism interests, ensuring that we are doing the right thing, the right way, at the right places. Before we even delve into the world of sports tourism, what's happening at UTB?
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on this panel. I'll just speak top line what we have in plan as a board.
Yeah,
I know our biggest mandate is to promote brand Uganda. And in many ways letting the world know the beauty that we have right here at home, and making sure we invite as many foreign tourists or inbound tourists into our market to bring in that extra GDP that goes on to further enable a lot of our development. So the single biggest task for us is to make sure brand Uganda is known out there, to invite as many tourists and potential investors into the country. Okay. Yeah.
And what are the prongs available for us in pushing brand Uganda? Of course, there is the sports tourism, and we're seeking to leverage on the upcoming events, including CHAN and the Africa Cup of Nations. But this is just an aspect of what you're pushing. What are the others?
So, of course, we do push a lot of our leisure tourism, which is, I think, one of the biggest. But also knowing that we're a country that is gifted by nature, we also push a lot of nature tourism to invite people to, partake in the pearl of Africa. But also along the way, we want to leverage a lot of the segments that come along with the nature that we have. So we have the source of the Nile, which is situated in Jinja, which we want to make the adventure capital of Africa. Okay. We also have the biggest freshwater lake in Africa and only second in the world, which we also want to develop and see how we now unpack the water or blue economy kind of tourism. So all those are aspects which we want to spin off and make sure we broaden, our options beyond just, what we always say, being gifted by nature, but also evolving them to deliver a lot more products.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. No doubt that is lovely stuff and endeavors that you are up to. We do hope for the very best and the best wishes of luck. Mr. Lugwana, you're a tourist guide.
Yes.
You're the guys who ensure that we have a good time, that we don't run when the lion comes. Somebody was telling me, don't stare at it in this way. If you look at it this way, then you're telling it something. Interesting stuff. Tell us about your docket and how best you're pushing Uganda's tourism agenda.
Yes, thank you so much, and I'm delighted to be here to discuss such important national issues. I work with Gogoya Trekking and Self-Driving Uganda. So it is within tourism. So our main issue, or our main aspects are like to take people to destinations. Like we promote our country.
That's right.
We make people love our country in different ways. We have different national parks here, and we actually want to sell this much more to people all over the world. So we help arrange packages, and like people who want to, if they want consultancy, they always approach us through different means. So we interlink different parts of the country. We also cross borders. So we want to sell this country much more than the other countries are nearby us.
Okay.
Yes. So and when we deal, we try to cross borders. Actually, we do domestic tourism also. So we also sell packages to foreigners. So
to come in Uganda.
To come in Uganda.
Not to go out of Uganda.
We always want that foreign currency to come in here. So that boosts the economy of the country. In the long run and in the short run.
Oh.
Yes.
Quickly, what is Ntinda United?
Ntinda United is a football team. Yes. So I do. I'm on the side of sports. And on the side of tourism.
All right. Yes. And that is exactly why the context matters a lot as we try to look into sports tourism in light of the upcoming events, CHAN, as well as the Africa Cup of Nations. Let me return to Mr. Nyende. The CHAN and the Africa Cup of Nations, these are continental showpieces. These are the biggest football events for the continent. And the fact that Uganda is one of 3 countries that will be hosting is something that we cannot overemphasize. We are honored, but in being honored, we have an enormous responsibility on us to first and foremost ensure the experiences for each person that will be coming into the country away from the football. They also get the feel of what we have. Do we have a strategy for that?
Thank you so much. First of all, it was such a huge triumph a huge triumph for us to actually win that bid.
Hosting bid.
As a region, because with it comes a lot of benefits and also, that much needed awareness for a country like ours and the region, East Africa. I think in many ways, and we're picking cues from all the other countries that have hosted such big events before. I think you may never be super ready for a lot of these activities or occasions, but it always gives us an opportunity to kind of improve and invest in the right places to make sure we are able to host them.
That's right.
So from our end, I know we do have a plan mainly around AFCON. I know CHAN will be coming in just to help us also test the waters on how best we're able to host this, big monumental, sports event. But we do have a couple of plans in place. We see a lot of infrastructure going up. I think the government has put in a lot of resources. We see the stadiums coming up in Lira and Hoima, and they have not spared a penny to make sure they are world standard. And we'll see also improvement in a couple of access to all these new sports infrastructure. I know the roads are also a big agenda right now.
That is right.
We're having some regional airports coming up, but also in the point of marketing Uganda, we will be actually kicking off that activation right from Morocco. So you'll see a lot of activity in Morocco for Chan, 2025. Is it 2025, 2026? Because it happens December.
That is right.
And Jan. So we'll be very, very active just to make sure the world gets to see, the next stage for African football. There will be over 2 billion viewers who will be set,
that is right.
looking at, our African tournament, and we want those 2 billion viewers to consider, visiting Uganda, during and maybe even after, or even before, AFCON. And of course, our main agenda will be to make sure people don't just come for the football.
For the football.
There's a lot more that a country like ours has to offer beyond just the, having some of the most passionate fans. We want people to come and enjoy our nature, stay a little longer, enjoy the nightlife here in Uganda, enjoy our culture and food. And
country is famed for nightlife.
Yes.
So many people want to stay a little longer.
Yes. So and make sure they actually leave good impact throughout the value chain, and like Martin called out, make sure all that money benefits a lot of players like him and other people in the value chain.
And I'm sure many actors who are in the industry, including Mr. Lugwana, yourself, you must be positioning yourselves. But let me ask you a question that should allow us who are outsiders to understand what happens when you are marketing sports, now that we're actually going into the actual events, away from the fact that gorilla trekking has been on and stuff like that. What are the packages like? What are you telling the prospective clients who might want to come here? Especially, there are two categories, I know. Those that will be coming for the football. Then there are tourists who might not know anything about football, but were scheduled for Uganda visits during this time. Those ones should also be interested into the football or these particular tournaments. How are you playing around to ensure that we capture all of them into this pool?
Yes, thank you so much. When it comes to that, many people, like many tourists come in here, especially, they want to visit and see the nature, like with all what we have here. Uganda is such a blessed country that every time when visitors come in here, they feel this is the best place. This is where they belong. So many people, like when they come in here, like they feel like, how comes we didn't know about this?
They are shocked.
They are shocked, which means like our marketing strategies are lacking somehow.
Okay.
Though the government has tried to help, but we need to boost it more.
Boost it.
Yes, and when it comes to sports, many visitors love to watch the local sports.
Yeah,
they come in here because we have many. Case scenario, maybe like France or some other European countries that participate in the international level of sports, they have many African players. So they always feel
they want to see where they come from.
They want to see where they come from. So when we go, like when we're traversing, as we take our destinations, we find many small pitches along the way. So when we try to discuss, I tell them like many players you see on such international leagues, Serie A, Premier League,
this is where they begin.
This is where they begin. So many want to always come here to maybe take a hand, but how do they do it? Okay, you get. So that's where we want the government to come in to give a hand. Like it was post-COVID, I had a team from German. So they came here and we had some games. I remember they watched, was it KCC? No, it was Express. We went together because their league was on hold and they were tired of being in the house. So they're like, let's see which countries are having running leagues. Yeah. So they chose Uganda. So they came here, they paid. We went through the Express management. So they were invited, they were given a ticket. So we went to watch them 2 matches. We even watched Police. Police was it was a return leg. So they felt so comfortable, but that was after telling them about what we do here, and they felt so uplifted. So like, no, we should really be visiting here.
Do you think the existing infrastructure can support ongoing efforts? I don't want to use the word is sufficient, but can the existing infrastructure support ongoing efforts to achieve the best we can?
Thank you so much. You know, when we were starting, you mentioned Ntinda United. And I remember when we were planning to bring our team to the top flight.
You asked where they have a stadium?
No, like so FUFA, as the board, brought like I would say, because all teams had different pitches, but these pitches were like not released like a standard.
Kataka style.
Yes, Kataka, well, that is the best thing. So they're like, no, now we're abolishing that. We need well-structured pitches. It has to be well-fenced. Like you have to follow all these precautions. But remember, our teams are not really facilitated well. You get, and these are the teams that are supporting these top flight pitches. Like right now, we're going to Chan, so we're having like domestic players. So we need them to be boosted. Like at least we need some facilities. Like if there's a solo proprietor that comes in to make maybe have a team like on ground, maybe the government would come in to support such people, because they are really, I would say, they have the spirit of what we call patriotism. They are helping their country, and in the long run, these people also have been helping their families, because a team is like it accommodates all people. You get supporters, players, coaches, so they all benefit from that. So when you give us good structures, or when you give us a way of how we can attain good structures, then that can best fit our program to really help the country have the best sportsmen and women. Yes.
No doubt. That is perfectly understandable, and I'm sure when you see what is happening in Hoima, I see so much on social media, including X and Facebook, where the companies basically celebrated.
That is actually
we are so good. Not used to seeing things move that way,
that fast,
to the extent that we're like, wow.
But this time around,
now that is a positive, and I believe actors and stakeholders, including UTB, should be able to now understand that maybe sports tourism can be a major cluster when it comes to pushing, and I hope we can have a lot more stadiums like those. I hope we have one in Butaleja. This is where Paul Hasule came from, Geoffrey Higeji. Those are the most iconic defenders the country has had. Myself, I have some football genes. It's just that broadcasting took over. So the strategizing must actually widen in order to be able to capture all these advantages that come with us. Now, yesterday, I don't know whether any of you were at Nambole. We had a whole huge crowd as the rugby tournament there was taking place. Now, the reason I bring in this is because rugby seems to have a lot of support from the corporate world. Rugby, golf, you know, these ones love to be supported. The companies love to support them. I don't know why, but football should also get basketball should also get the same kind of attention. When you are onboarding the private sector onto these initiatives, especially when it comes to availing the funds that are needed in order to propel, you know, visibility. How is there a PPP, or it's a case of if they are interested, we shall talk? Is UTB looking at corporates or corporate companies the way we want them to be onboarded? a little more aggressively than what we're seeing?
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to clear the air. So
okay,
football is getting equally some good, support. And actually, if you actually put down the numbers, football does get most of the support from the government, from private players. Private sector. I know when I was still in the private sector, I did work a lot with FUFA. At my time in libraries. Okay.
Then I think the problem is the rugby markets more than football.
Yeah. And then rugby is same thing. But I think what's unique about I think rugby and golf is probably the kind of crowds, kind of stature that they attract. Just giving an example of what's happening currently. We have the Rugby Africa Cup series happening in Uganda for the second time in I think 3 years. And it's with the ease of how we get these people back in here. We're getting the top representation from Rugby International here. Yeah. We have the Webb Ellis Cup here in Uganda. I think it's with the ease of how we get things done in some disciplines like rugby, and the fact that they are always willing to flex and host such a big tournament here in Uganda. Football, on the other hand, is it probably require a lot more resources, a lot more many series of approvals to turn around and host something really big. So rugby, I think, has offered a lot of flexibility, and they are willing to always bring in a lot of people. But I also see football is not far from that. I think in terms of visibility, looks like rugby is on the spot right now, because of it's highly commercial also.
Commercial, and also I think rugby talks a lot of English.
Yes, and highly experiential, because you're sure at a rugby game, beyond just the game.
The game itself, there's a lot of fun.
There's a lot of fun that comes after that, right in the place where the match is happening. So I wouldn't discount football a lot. It's just, but just that maybe rugby at the moment is offering good experience that does capture a lot of conversations. Yeah.
So that should be able to emphasize an aspect that ought to get the attention that it deserves, is that perception matters. Yes. And how people relate to certain sports. It's one of the ways that you can either galvanize support. It could be that mostly for football, people think football, Wogera, Uganda, Babeda, Kataka, stuff like that.
And then, traditionally.
Then traditionally, you won't find a basketball court in a place where most basketball courts, when you go to play basketball, there's a lot of English there.
Yeah, a lot of English.
Just like
from
rugby,
the corporate world.
So in strategizing, I think, and this is an open conversation, no doubt. Forgive me for taking on an analyst's point, but it's something that you can follow through to ensure that you approach these sports segments on how perceptions run within the communities. Because you could go for basketball and then you're doing a lot of Luganda and you don't make any inroads. And then you go for football and you have a lot of English and you're wondering why things are not happening. When the boys who are down there talented want to be spoken to in a language that they do understand. But we also have the low-hanging fruit and our most potent sports ambassadors, athletics, the athletes. We have the Chiptegays, we have all these guys who are running marathons across the globe and winning. Those moments are iconic. I don't know why, away from the triumph and the gold presentation, things tend to go under. What is UTB doing to ensure that we keep this flag and the flame up there?
So thanks for that question. I think we all agree all these athletes have really made us proud. They really carry our flag whenever they go out, and actually managed to win. Cheptegei is a champion, right?
No doubt.
Here and across the world. On our end, we're really trying to make sure we are so close to these ambassadors. We're so close to sports, and it explains why even when the opportunity for Rugby Africa came, we didn't want to let it pass by, because we know sports. Sports is not just a game. It's a real tourist attraction.
It's a religion.
Yeah, it's a religion. It's a real tourist attraction, and a real driver of economic development. When Cheptegei goes on to win, I'm sure people would love to go back and see where the champions are being made.
That is right.
So for us, it's one of those opportunities for us now to to sell Uganda beyond just the beauty that we have as a country, but also maybe the home of champions, because we've seen Cheptegei, we've seen the netball Lady Cranes,
also doing it big on the international stage.
We've seen rugby, we've seen the cricket team. All of those are ambassadors who put our flag out there, create a lot of awareness, and possibly there are lots of people who would be interested to see where these people are made.
Okay.
And I'm very sure if they knew the beauty that comes with all that, they'll be dying to come through. So for us as UTB, we are definitely putting a lot of emphasis around sports, and you'll see it come through. So today it's rugby. We will have a role to play with AFCON. We have Uganda Golf Open coming up in August, and we really want to be part of it, and also do the job before the tournaments actually happen. So it is a work in progress, but along the way we should be at the forefront of attracting a lot more people coming here to enjoy sports and see the home of the champions.
Great. Now client retention is very important in tourism. You need to have people return to have these very experiences. You are a tour guide.
Yes, please.
And very often interface and interact with these tourists. They could be domestic or those that are coming from across the borders and including overseas. What do they want most? We could be offering something, but also should be able to have like a questionnaire, so to speak, or a mechanism to tap into their mindset on what they expected. Is it what they found? If they found what they expected, what are they willing to experiment on or experience more?
Oh, thank you so much. Before I tackle that point, I just want to go back a little bit.
Okay, no doubt, don't worry.
From what we were discussing.
Yeah.
I also speak for my guys on the pitch.
Okay.
There's when you mentioned about making these pitches, people to have the language at the pitch.
Yeah, to be relatable.
To be relatable.
Especially in communication.
Yeah. We have players who are not really conversant sometimes with the language.
With English.
With English.
Let's be very honest.
But they are doing the best for us.
Yeah.
We have, I think, the best brand we've sold is the late Majid Musi.
Majid Musisi.
Yes. Sometimes we host people, clients from Turkey.
Yeah.
And he's the biggest brand actually we've had here. So I don't think he was that good at. I don't despise him, but he didn't have like celebrated books or like his bachelor's holder or what.
That's right.
But he has been the best sports ambassador we've had. How could we relate with Bosaspa, that team that he used to play for? He wasn't a fluent English speaker.
That is right.
He went there not knowing the language because they speak Arabic, but he went in there and sold the country so well.
That is right.
The best thing would be to put the best facilities on pitch at whatever point. let's have regional facilities, because everyone wants to come to Kampala.
That is right.
People from the villages have the talent, but they're not English speakers.
Yeah.
Put the structures there, at least have maybe formal schools there for these people to learn. Messi is playing in the US right now, but I don't think he speaks that English. He's good with the pitch.
Perfectly understandable.
So when I come back to the question, I just want
maybe before you answer the question about feedback and what these people are particularly interested in, I just love how ideas roll up when you have conversations in a very laid back way. Is it Bazospa?
Yeah,
the team?
It must be Bazospa, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That Majid Masisi played.
Actually, he's had an iconic celebration. I don't know if we had it in the archive.
Now, the Majid Musisi Foundation, or anybody that is running anything that usually does any commemorative events to honor the legacy of Majid Musisi, we have an idea for you. The team that Majid Musisi played in Turkey is particularly interested, and they seem to hold this man in high regard. That is the celebration there. Now, you can capitalize on this. That team could visit Uganda.
That is it.
And come and see exactly where this icon
comes from.
Mulago Pitch, unfortunately, it's now a hospital.
You see.
We cannot.
Where could we put his monument?
We cannot put a monument and tell them this is where the guy began to juggle and basically glide through defenses the way he did. And I think that's a very good idea. It's something that should be picked up by the foundations that are responsible for the events that do commemorate and mostly remember.
And there are other iconic players.
There are so many others. And you've just inspired me. I think we should come together in Butaleja and do something for Paul Hasule.
And just
exactly. He's an iconic Villa player.
Just to add to that Majid Musisi opportunity. So I think the team in Turkey actually has a pitch, built with inspiration from his celebration.
That is right.
It's built like
they are celebrating Musisi more than we do here.
So, but I think to leverage this opportunity, and I hope the foundation can also reach out to us, see how we also build around, this rich heritage.
That is right.
Turkey is one of the biggest tourist markets, and if we have such a special connection, why not even see how we can work with the foundation? Can we have something celebrating Majid even on the pitch?
On the pitch,
those advanced pitches have room for, it could be like a small museum where maybe we can showcase his history. By the time they go ahead to build a Majid Musisi inspired stadium.
There we have it.
And then, of course, coming back home here, we need to curate that story. I don't think it's a lost cause.
It's not a lost cause.
I think for us it's to pick it up. It's a good story in an important market like Turkey.
It works very well. So then, we want, on top of that, I must demand, I'm not even going to appeal. We want the Hasule Cup in Butaleja. We want the Majid Musisi Cup in Kawempe. We want the Chirunda Cup. That is in Busoga. We want the Obua Cup in Lira. If all these legends can have cups attached to them and tournaments played in their honor, it will go a long way in ensuring that the celebration of their legacies is no doubt something that we go on with. Now, on our feedback question, what do these people want? When interacting with a client, when it comes to the client is expectation. That's right. Yeah, like you have, him or her may be having their priorities, sets up structures, like, I want to visit Uganda. It comes with maybe an itinerary from a friend who visited maybe 10 years ago. I was like, maybe when you do it like this, you can have the best. But remember, like, things are changing every time. Like, you can't have these packages similar, even if you do one trip today. That is right. And you do it tomorrow, they will completely be different. So when you give in a client
a package, let's say 10 days, Uganda. So you mention the expected national park to visit, or like the beautiful adventurous points like in the east, we have Ginger, we have the CP Falls. So they may be expecting, they come with expectations. But remember, this is in writing. You get. So it helps you to follow the schedule, not to miss out anything. But what is on ground may be different. You get. Sometimes we people, like, we love the food, and that has made their trip. They love the kids on the street, and that has made their trip. You get. We have the Rolex. Sometimes people, these guys love the Rolex.
There's some who comes.
Yes. Someone asks you, is it a watch? Like, no, you know, it's like a chapati rolled in an egg. Taste it. They think, no, this is the best thing I've had.
Interesting.
Yeah. So when they come here, like, you brief your clients, like after receiving them, you brief them, interact with them, because they're just new to you, and they're like, you're new to them. Though you've been communicating, like in writing. So you get to know their priorities. In the time. Yeah. Like by the time if you take your first destination, you'll have felt what they really want,
what they
you get.
The experiences are like.
Sometimes it's not about what we package, but it's about how do you make these people feel comfortable with you and what they visit. How do you make them love the country? You get.
Great.
Because some come with negative expectations,
and then they get,
but we try to
get pleasantly shocked.
Yes. So we always have the best. Actually, I've had many, because I'm talking this with a personal experience.
I know. That's why.
And when they visit, I'll not mention the countries, but when they visit the nearby countries here,
you don't sell that country. We now have selling
yes, they're like, no, how comes this has not been there? How comes people have not visited this? How comes I've just visited this time round? I would have come when.
I have too many ideas,
yes,
but intellectual property is important. Let me first keep quiet.
Okay.
We shall have time and talk.
You're free to ask any question about that field.
Now, gentlemen, as we transition, I want to talk about the support structures around the tourism. I think, let me be very specific. When we receive all these visitors who will be coming in, they need accommodation.
Yep.
I don't know how we are doing on that. What is the recce like? Are you, UTB, have you laid down a number of hotels that are good enough, that have to improve? Because you could go to a hotel, honestly, if somebody is coming to watch CHAN or Africa Cup of Nations, and there is no sanitary material, that could completely be a disappointing factor. I don't know whether you've vetted the hotels. Are you doing that?
Thank you so much. So the vetting process is always an ongoing process, actually, for us at UTB. So we are continuously looking at these hotels, giving them licenses, grading them, and it's an always-on effort, with or without the tournaments, because we know we are on that journey to make sure we have a lot more facilities, at a global standard to receive tourists. And I know it is something that we have a dedicated team focusing on that, our quality and assurance team, which goes around the country, and we also will be having a lot of support, trying to also grow the team and the funds to make sure we grade these hotels as fast as we can. But to give you comfort, also the fact that we see a lot of these sports activities coming to the country, the developers and mainly the private sector are actually doing a lot more around making sure we have a lot more rooms and standard accommodation capable of hosting these games. So I'll give just an example of what Rwenzori Marathon has done for Kasese.
Okay.
And, you know, Amos, my very good friend, would tell you before the marathon, you'd hardly find 500 rooms
in Kasese.
Right now, you have almost 3,000 rooms, and a couple of hotels have come up. Many people are investing in the area, and now with the mind, you know, with them understanding the quality and standard that is required
of them,
putting it, you know, out there. And also, as UTB, we are available to make sure these people actually put up standard accommodation. So I want to believe we are on a journey. We are not yet there, but you know, it's a very exciting journey that you know, we see us getting to a place where we'll have, you know, a lot more standard accommodation to bring on these tournaments.
Great.
And it's also good to always you know, be as ambitious as we can. We'll always invite to host.
Talk about that.
And then we'll fix as we go, just like many other countries do it. If you look at, I think, okay, South Africa, you know, much as it's well developed, you saw the job they had to do
ahead of the 2010
yes.
World Cup. Yeah.
When they had to host the World, you know, the infrastructure now had to change. More pitches, you know, facilities went up. High-end hotels now could, you know, come in. And that's what we need to do for Uganda. As long as the world sees us continue to host these high-profile events, even the high-end accommodation, you know, investors will be coming in.
No doubt. I mean, we are already on track, given the MICE, that is the meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions parade that I see around the city, especially within Kampala and Entebbe, given their strategic nature and highly urbanized accommodation facilities. I think that is something that is well achievable. Mr. Lugwana, yes. That pronunciation there got me at the beginning. I hope I won't completely turn it around. As a person that is involved in the trekking, I wouldn't end this conversation without talking about the gorillas. I mean, this whole package and imaging around the gorilla for Uganda is one that must be exploited to the maximum. What is the experience like for a domestic tourist when watching and trekking these gorillas? I want that because out there I know gentlemen who, until they hear from a Ugandan who is immersed in it, might not understand the experience. If you had a tourist from Germany explaining the amazement at looking at a gorilla, and a Ugandan would be like, oh, no, yeah. You know, because for you, your understanding and experience of these things is totally different. But you deal with these animals. Me personally, I haven't faced a 6-foot gorilla. In my mind, I'm like, but you're told when it charges, stay still. Very few Ugandans would stay still. Tell us about the experience, the gorilla.
Thank you so much. The best part with tourism is actually to physically or practically get involved.
Yeah.
That's when you can best feel the composition. So when you choose to visit the gentle giants, as we call them, actually, to tell you something about the gorillas, they are only the mountain gorillas. They are different species. Yeah, we have the lowland and we have the mountain gorillas. But with the mountain gorillas, we share them with 3 countries, actually in the entire world. That is Uganda, Rwanda, and Congo.
And DRC.
And DRC. Yeah, but Uganda has 2 national parks for gorillas. We have Mugahinga and Bwindi Penetrable National Park. Yeah, Mugahinga is on the region we call the Virunga Massif. Yeah, the Virunga Massif is that joint part that we have the volcanoes. The mountain Sabinyo, the Muhabura, the Karisimbi, and which Bisoke, so that chain. So that's why you have the gorillas.
Okay.
But they're on the heights. Their altitude, actually. They love the altitude. So sometimes it needs physicality. You need to be fit.
You need to climb, and
yes,
you could get tired before you see one. You shouldn't give up.
No, yeah, but before we get there, we have trackers.
Very quickly,
who normally visit this.
Okay.
Yes.
They know where they are.
Yes.
So
because every point, like the trackers know where different groups slept. Okay. So I want to bring it this way to have my fellow people love this. Tracking, they are unique. They're only actually in Uganda and the other two countries.
Rwanda,
yes. Why not visit these apes before they get extinct? Because they have always been facing.
And we are doing our best not to make sure they are not extinct.
Yeah, we've had many animals getting extinct.
They won't.
And Uganda is unique because we have them.
We have them.
Yes. They actually just crossed the critical endangered system, but now they are just endangered. But still,
we have them.
We still have few.
And we also have 50% of the population here.
Interesting.
Yeah. So just a minute, I want to like bring it in a layman's
finalize that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, let's go visit these animals. They are very gentle. We have the briefing before we get there. They are rangers who take us through the briefing. In case of anything, they are there with you.
Okay.
Because they take you through. And we are given a distance, like 10 meters.
10 meters.
Once we come across them.
I think that is okay.
Yes. And actually, I think they are habituated.
Habituated.
Yes, so they are befriended in nature.
They're also used to humans.
Yeah, it's like they're used to humans, but we don't tamper with their natural habitat.
Don't tamper with their natural habitat.
Yes.
Of course, that is perfectly understandable. Francis Nyende and Mr. Martin Lugwana, many thanks for coming by. Your perspectives and insights into the sports tourism, but most importantly, how we must align ourselves in order to reap the best from CHAN and AFCON, have emboldened our spirits, and we are inspired and ready to have the tournament. I'll also be experiencing that. I love football, and the CHAN and AFCON is no doubt something that I am waiting for. That will do it for our Kickstarter, Morning at